G'day! So I finally got my nuclear power plant running. And now power is not going to be an issue for a long time. So that's my main base all the way over there. You can just see poking up. The main train station is over there. And my nuclear plant is over the other side where that train station is in the distance. So I've been working now. Actually, I'll just show. Whoops. Quickly. As you can see, I've got 77,500 megawatts, and I'm barely using any of that. So power's not going to be an issue for a long time, which is good. So the latest thing I've been working on for hours and hours is this factory here, which I just finished. So this is my heatsink factory, which is going to produce 130 heat sinks per minute. That entire factory down there, that's all it does. Well, that's all its final product is. And the heatsink will come out down this bus here, down this one line here, come up to this train station, and go into this. Now, why am I doing 130 heat sinks per minute? Because I want to make, my big plan is, back in my main base, the plan is to make 6 manufacturers making these turbo motors on the alternate recipe. Now that works out to be 16.8 turbo motors per minute. Now one of the things that the turbo motors needs is the radio control units, which I need 30 of per minute. I need 28 point something, but I've rounded it up to 30. And obviously one of the things that the radio control units need is heat sinks. So there's a lot of work to be done, and I've only done one component of it so far, which is the heat sinks coming out of this factory. Now I've managed to do it without using any oil at all. And why I think that is a good thing to do is because oil is the most scarce resource in the game. And when you're going to be doing massive projects needing heaps of resources, generally it's going to be limited by how much oil you have. So if you can get recipes that allow you to take a component out of a production line, allow you to take the oil out of that production line, in my opinion, I think they're the best kind of recipes at the moment. So oil is, it always was scarce, but now with update 3, it's even more scarce, because even with the pure nodes, pure and normal, the most you can get out of a node is 300. So to get heat exchangers without oil, you need 2 recipes. The heat exchanger one. So the normal one uses rubber, which uses oil. The alternate one uses copper and aluminium. You'll also need the aluminium scrap recipe, which is this one here. So the original recipe uses petroleum coke, and there's no way to get petroleum coke without at some stage using oil to get the packaged the heavy oil residue. So this one uses coal instead of that, which is excellent. So yeah, let's go have a look at this thing. Now, I haven't powered it up yet, because that's the most rewarding part of working on something for hours, is actually powering it up. So I'm going to go do that. But just to give you an idea of how much is in it, it's got 22 assemblers, 10 foundries, 11 water extractors, 34 refineries, 48 smelters, and 96 constructors. 58 of the constructors are doing copper sheets and 38 are doing silica. So there's a bit to it. So let's go take a peek. Again, it took me a lot longer because I wanted to make it look pretty cool. Not just a big box. So it's got a little bit of style to it as well. So this is the top floor. I just have a quick look at my buses because I needed 1200 bauxite, 480 coal, 1430 copper, 855 quartz and 1320 water per minute. So I've made the buses. I like to make my bus lines quite neat looking. So that the buses themselves took a while to bring here. The only thing I had to bring from a long way away is this line, the bauxite line. But I chose this area on purpose because of the water and it's close to the quartz and the copper. So these constructors up here are the copper sheets. The smelters underneath here are the copper smelters. And those assemblers down the end there is the actual assemblers making the heat sinks. There's 10 of those. I've got a bit of space here in this alleyway down here. I plan on putting a hypertube railgun, a big nice long one, and that should hopefully shoot me all the way back to my main base, which is all the way over there. That's the plan anyway. So this is the top floor of final production. And there's my other bus coming in with the quartz and the copper and the coal. Like I said, yeah, these buses took quite a while to put in because I was obsessed with making them look neat. But they turned out alright, I think. Now my miners are actually, for the first time also, I put them in buildings and covered them up like this. Just for a little bit of a different look. So the next floor, all the silica constructors, the foundries and some assemblers making aluminium sheets. These are the refineries on this floor that are making the aluminium scrap. That's pretty much what this whole floor does. And this floor, the first floor, these refineries on each side are making the aluminium solution. And then underneath, I have my water extractor set up. So the refineries themselves, they need 1800 water, but the ones upstairs here that make the scrap, they actually have water as their byproduct, and it worked out to be 480 water, and then 1800 water minus 480 was 1320, and that works out to be perfectly 11 extractors. So yeah, let's kick it in the guts and hopefully there's not too much troubleshooting to make this work. So I don't want to know how many hours I spent on this, but a lot. I'm gonna kick it in the guts now. With a little bit of luck, should be all good. Now I am running the overflow system on all my production lines here pretty much, which means that it's not going to be running at 100% instantly. It is going to take a little while for everything to build up and overflow and then everything running at 100%. This all seems to be working. Yeah, all my pumps are green, that's a good sign. Excellent, we're getting water up. So the byproduct from these refineries is silica. No, what am I? Yes, it's silica. So this is the product I want, the solution, and the byproduct is silica. And I am using silica later on in my factory, but dividing it and working out the math, it's just such a big fraction to play with. I didn't want to mess with trying to use the silica as putting it back in the system. It's just much more easy to just get rid of it and produce my own amount of silica, because with byproducts in refineries, the last thing you want to do is not be using it up, and it'll just stop the whole system if you back up the system with the byproduct, if you're not using it all. And the other option is to run it at a deficit and you make it so the system needs more than what it's giving, and I didn't want to do that, and I couldn't work it out to be perfect, so I'm just crushing the silica. However, with the water byproduct of the next one, I am feeding the water back down into the system. So these ones are getting the aluminium solution and coal on the alternate recipe. Their byproduct is the water, and that's going to go back down to the lower level through this section in the middle here that I've set up, and go back into the where the water's needed. And it just worked out that the amount here works out to a good amount to divide. But everything seems to be working quite well so far. Nothing I haven't forgot to connect power to. Oops, went up an extra level there. Cool, so what's going on here? Why are these guys yellow? What's happening here? Copper, are they getting the copper? I think the copper... Yeah, they are getting the copper. It's just a little bit slow because, like I said, I'm running the overflow system, and it will take a little while to get that everything running at 100%. I'll go up to the top floor and check it out, because the copper setup there is quite long for an overflow system. As you can see, these constructors here aren't quite running at 100% yet. The ones that are yellow, it's only made it about halfway down. And with the smelters, yeah, you can see they're green all the way up to about here, and these ones down here aren't quite running at 100% yet. As you can see, the belts aren't quite filled yet. But trust me, there is enough. This is a 780 line of copper ore. It will, just give it a bit of time, it'll come up to 100%. I use overflow system because it's simple, it works, and it doesn't use as much space as heaps of splitters and mergers to do like a load balancing system. It works. Whoops, alright. So, this is actually going to take me all the way back to the train station. But hopefully we should see some heat sinks on this line. Please. Maybe. So when you make a massive system like that, you have to be willing to troubleshoot it for a bit. You can't expect everything to work perfect straight away. I mean, chances are I might have messed up a belt somewhere or something like that. I'm still going to go through and paint it and all the rest of it, but that's basically it. So I think my next project I'm going to do is crystal oscillators over in the desert. Now hopefully this has got what? Alright, well there's something, I've missed something, but I'll sort that out. I've probably just missed a belt somewhere. Yeah. But yeah, that's basically my setup. I've probably just got to do a couple little bits of troubleshooting to make sure something I've missed. But yeah, that's it. Oh my goodness, as soon as I turned that video off, the heatsink started coming in. Classic. But yeah, it's working. It's just going to take a bit of time before it comes up to 100%.